Welcome to our channel, where we talk all things true crime. This video is for educational purposes. Let's get started.
Elisa Lam was a Canadian student that went on a solo trip to California. The 21-year-old went missing in January 2013. After her parents filed a missing persons report, the police released the video of Elisa behaving very strange. This elevator video is the center of most of the theories and speculations, so let's get into it.
Elisa Lam was the daughter of immigrants from Hong Kong. Elisa was a student at the University of British Columbia, but she wasn't registered at the beginning of 2013. Elisa maintained an active Tumblr blog where she documented her thoughts, life experiences, and travels. She used Tumblr as a journal, and she was very open and posted a variety of content, including posting memes, quotes, photography, and her struggle with mental health. She was diagnosed with depression and bipolar disorder. In 2012, Elisa posted a video talking about her struggle with dealing with depression and how she was on a break from school. She said that she was feeling so utterly directionless and lost due to having a relapse during the school term.
At the beginning of 2013, Elisa wanted to go on a solo trip to California. At first, her family objected to her traveling by herself. Despite their concerns, they eventually allowed Elisa to go on her trip with the condition that she called them every day. Elisa arrived in LA on January 26, 2013. She had traveled by Amtrak train from San Diego. Elisa also went to Santa Cruz as a part of her solo trip. Elisa had kept her word and checked in with her family. When she didn't check in on the 31st, her family became worried. Elisa was due to check out of the Cecil Hotel in LA the next day. The Lambs contacted the LA Police Department. The police searched the premises at the hotel but couldn't find Elisa.
The Lambs went to LA from Canada to help with the search for Elisa. Elisa was last seen at the Last Bookstore on January 31st. The owner of the bookstore remembered Elisa and told police that she seemed like she planned to return home. She had bought books and music for her family.
She was buying things to take home to her family, to her sister specifically, knowing that she was thinking about them, planning to go back to them. That feels like a very loving action. Someone could tell my sister that I had been thinking of her and talking about her and planning to get back to her. I would want to know that.
When there wasn't any more leads to follow, the LAPD held a press conference on February 6th regarding Elisa's disappearance. Her family was present but didn't comment. On February 13th, the police released the infamous elevator security video that was captured on February 1st. The LAPD had hoped that someone had seen her. At that point, the police, her family, and even the public was sure that Elisa never left the hotel since there was no footage of her exiting.
In the video, Elisa was shown acting odd. She was seen stepping into the elevator and pushing all of the floor buttons. She also stepped in and out of the elevator and would look out by poking her head out looking down the hallway. At one point, she is seen standing still by the side of the door where you couldn't tell if somebody was in the elevator. It looked like she was talking to someone at one point, and then she also appeared to be hiding from someone. She eventually stepped out of the elevator entirely. This video went viral and was seen by people all around the world, amassing tens of millions of views. The video sparked a lot of theories of what happened to Elisa, everything to foul play to ghost. There was also speculation that the video appeared to be doctored and that there was a potential cover-up by the hotel and police.
Guests started to complain about the water at the Cecil Hotel. The water was tasting funny, the water pressure was low, and the water looked dark and discolored. The hotel maintenance worker, Santiago Lopez, checked the water tank, which is on the roof of the hotel. He saw that the hatch was open, and when he looked in the tank, he saw Elisa's naked body floating in the water. Her clothes were floating next to her. These were the same clothes that she was wearing in the elevator video. It was immediately reported, and health officials placed a do not drink water order at the Cecil. The water tank had to be drained completely, and the fire department had to cut open the side of the tank to remove Elisa's body.
The autopsy results for Elisa's case only sparked more questions than answers. While she did have medical drugs in her system, most likely medication for her depression and bipolar disorder, she didn't have any illegal substances or alcohol in her body. When people started to break down the toxicology report, it points to that she may not have been taking her medication properly. Sometimes the use of antidepressants to treat bipolar disorder can induce manic side effects. Some concluded that this is the explanation on why Elisa was acting strange on the elevator. The Cecil Hotel manager agrees with this theory. The manager said that Elisa was originally supposed to stay in a shared room with others. The roommates complained that Elisa was acting weird. Elisa was then moved to a private room by herself.
It's pointed out that even if Elisa was having issues with her mental health, how did she end up dead and in a water tank? While the autopsy didn't show any foul play, the coroner's office noted that they were not able to complete the examination because of Elisa's decomposing body. Elisa's death was labeled as accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder as a factor. The authorities concluded that it was likely that Elisa was suffering from a psychotic episode, and that she probably climbed up the fire escape ladder to the roof and entered the water tank, where she unfortunately drowned.
Elisa's parents filed a wrongful death suit against the Cecil Hotel in September 2013. They claimed that the Cecil had responsibilities to inspect and seek out hazards in the hotel that presented an unreasonable risk of danger to Elisa and other hotel guests. The hotel filed a motion to dismiss it, stating that there was no reason to think someone would be able to get into one of their water tanks. Mr. Lopez described how much effort it took for him to find the body. He said that he had to go to the 15th floor, walk up the staircase leading to the roof, turn off the rooftop alarm, and climb up on the platform where the water tanks are located. Lastly, he climbed another ladder to get to the top of the tank.
In Mr. Lopez's testimony, he did suggest that it would have been difficult for Elisa to get to the top of the water tank on her own, at least not without anyone noticing. The chief engineer for the hotel made it clear that it would have been hard for anyone to get to the roof without triggering the alarms. Hotel employees would have been the only ones that could deactivate the alarm properly. If the alarm was triggered, then it would have been heard on the top 2 floors and would have reached the front desk. The case was dismissed because the death happened in an area that guests were not allowed to be.
The Elisa Lam case continued to captivate people's imagination, and the mystery remains unsolved. While it was ruled as an accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder playing a huge part in this case, there are other theories of foul play or murder. The hotel's dark history, including criminal activity and other mysterious deaths, brings doubt on her death being accidental. Also due to the hotel's dark past and eerie circumstances, some think that supernatural forces are involved in her death. The elevator video also fueled the supernatural theory, because she appears to be interacting with an unseen presence. Some also believed that Elisa was playing the Korean elevator game, which is an urban legend. If played correctly, it's said that it transports you to another eerie dimension. Many believed her death is unsolved and definitive answers remain elusive.
So what do we think? I remember hearing about this case, but it was just the elevator video that I saw, and it was on a compilation of other scary videos that were captured by cameras, and it was depicted to be supernatural.
It's a very odd video, but it still is interesting because it does look like she's looking to make sure nobody's following her.
And then it looks like she's hiding from them up against the elevator
she's
wall.
like standing where the buttons are. She's standing there, but it's like she's very still.
Like a statue.
Yeah, like so if you were to walk past and look in the elevator, you wouldn't see anybody. They point out the alarms would have been triggered, but they weren't triggered at all, so how'd she get in the water tank?
And my thought is either an employee had to disarm the alarms, or they weren't working properly. If they weren't working properly, then the hotel should have been held accountable.
Yeah.
Because then she would have never been able to get up to the roof.
So yeah, even if she was having a psychotic break, then she wouldn't have been able to access it. But nobody saw her either, and they only caught her on camera.
Was the entire hotel video surveillanced?
It seems like it would be. I don't know how familiar you are with the Cecil Hotel, because originally it was a luxury hotel.
Oh.
But now it's by Skid Row.
Oh. Maybe they just have cameras in the elevators, because my thought is if they have cameras there, why is there no other footage being released, really?
Yeah.
What if there was someone out there? What if it was a worker? Or I just keep going back to worker because of that alarm not sounding.
Well, it's also used as low-income housing.
It makes me think of a hostel.
A little bit, yeah. Very cheap to stay there. There's been multiple infamous people that have stayed there, including Richard Ramirez and another serial killer. So there's been a lot of sketchy going on, we'll just say, at that hotel. And that manager, I watched the documentary and she was in it, but she just seemed very dismissive
So she went there and was going to be placed with other people in a room, which makes me think of the hostel. They said she was being weird or was weird, whatever. Would that have not raised a red flag for them to maybe keep an eye on that guest?
They're probably used to people being weird.
This is probably true.
I think at one point, some dude walked into the lobby naked with blood on him.
And they were just like, hey, dude, you're
What's
in
up?
the wrong place.
They're just like, okay, go to your room, please.
It sounds like the parents were very protective of her, didn't want her traveling. Why didn't they find out where she was going? A quick internet search would have found out about this hotel.
It was. So
I know she was an adult, but...
So the part that she was staying at, it was renamed Stay on Main or something. So they had broke the hotel into two parts. Half of it was supposed to be a nice hotel, and the other half is
Still the Cecil?
still crap, basically.
Oh, okay.
But it's very cheap. When you look up the reviews, it looked like a normal place. She didn't know it was the Cecil Hotel. She thought it was a hotel, the Stay on Main. It looks like a newer hotel because they've renovated all this stuff. Plus, if you're not from the area or not familiar with anything in Los Angeles, you don't know what area it is. They looked at the reviews. It looked like an okay hotel for the price. I think her going there, and then it was going to be a shared room, so that would have been cheaper, but then they moved her to a different room. So I'm wondering if she was still on the part of the so-called nicer part of it, the hotel.
Or if they moved her to the bad part.
Yeah.
Huh.
But you have to think if there was any other guests that were staying there. Obviously very cheap. There's a lot of prostitution, drug use, all that stuff.
Ladies of the night.
Yeah. The hotel itself has a very interesting history.
People travel there just to visit that. Haven't they done paranormal investigations there before?
Yeah, the Black Dahlia was supposedly seen at the Cecil Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people have been seen there.
Yeah, like if you believe in the supernatural.
Yeah. But then with the LAPD, there's always rumors that they're corrupt and covering up stuff.
Not the first time we heard that.
Disturbing part was the guests were complaining about the water
Oh
being
my gosh, yes.
tasting funny. And it is mentioned how hard it would have been for her to get to the roof by herself. Also climbing up that ladder.
She was pretty tiny.
Yeah. And then
How'd her clothes get off?
I don't know. They speculated that she took her clothes off. Maybe it was weighing her down, and so she took them off.
In the water. So is this case technically closed as far as the police are concerned?
I think so. I think it's just ruled as accidental, but a lot of people don't think it is.
I don't feel like that's all the answers.
It seems like it could be a possibility, so I guess it was the best theory they had, I guess. That's what they went with. It just seems like there's a lot of holes in that.
There is a lot of holes. I wonder what floor she stayed on, because they said you had to go up 15 floors to get to the top, so nobody saw her in between.
Nobody saw her, no guests, nothing, no other cameras.
Which seems baffling.
It is very odd. I've been in hotels, and there's usually people coming and going, workers and other guests, so somebody would have had to see her. You have to think of what type of people were staying there, too. I'm sure they were up all hours. Because, you know, she was a younger woman and alone, which is kind of scary.
Which makes her vulnerable, and people prey on that. So what do you think? Do you think that the ruling on her death was accurate, or do you think there's more to it? Let us know in the comments below.